Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today's video is going to be giving you everything you need to know about the upcoming latest and newest KVK season for Season of Strife. We're going to go over all the deets. We're going to tell you which kingdoms have been officially announced to be in this kingdom pool for the latest group for Season of Strife. We're going to show you the timeline. We're going to show you some information regarding when you're in pre-war versus season and how that relates to the timeline. We're going to be showing you a potential sneak peek, well, not sneak peek, but maybe connecting some dots on a second storyline for Season of Strife 2 as well that was kind of hinted or Easter egged, if you will, in a previous update video on the CoD official Discord, and then just give you our general thoughts and see what else kind of happens along the way. So as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So number one is I am back in home kingdom. Again, you can see here I have not moved from 65, so shout out to the old OG K65 Project fam or anyone that is still here from that time, aside from myself, just because I'm too lazy to move. So let's go to the top right here. As we zoom in, we can see this S book, and this is going to take us to the Season of Strife preview phase. Now let's go and talk about timeline for a moment. So next stage is going to be registration. We have, I think, 2 days, right? So we're here. We actually have 1 day and 6 hours, less than 1 day and 6 hours until the registration phase hits. Would be nice if they had like a countdown timer or two as well. Maybe they do and I'm tripping. Oh, actually, I think it's if I click on the book, right? Yeah, so there it is. 1 day, less than 6 hours. We can see it there. That's cool. It'd be nice if it was just here on the interface, though. It would also be nice if it was here. Oh, actually, it is right there. I just can't read. We're okay. So then we get to matchmaking, which is going to be happening 3 days later than that, on the 6th. And I imagine that's where anyone who has registered will see which pools they're in, and which camps, and then how many of those KVK pools or groups are set up. We'll get to results, which I'm curious on what this means. Is the what's the difference between matchmaking and results? Is it just how many kingdoms are going to be in and which ones don't have enough? Because if you're doing if you're registering and then matchmaking is announced, that means that you've already been put in your group. So I'm just curious on what. Oh, hang on, here we go. I can't click on it. We're okay. View the scenario your realm will be taking part in and information about other realms taking part in the same scenario. Okay, so maybe it's placements. Maybe it's like what camps or what placements you're going to be on, and matchmaking is just these are the kingdoms that are going to be in the pool, right? So let's click. Realms registered for the same scenario will be automatically matched together. Okay. And then registration, high kings, and then what does it say? Take your first step. Okay, cool. So we just have to click on stuff. Okay, well, we'll read through that in a sec. But that basically goes over, then results, and then you have season begins. And season begins probably is going to be a day or two after results, because that has been pretty consistent with what we've seen for the majority of KVK seasons, where the new season has begun 1 to 2 days after the last phase is hit. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about here for a moment before we click on Calling of Courage is that the second one here could very well be something like Strife of the 8 or another, and I'm going to give you a quick example here. If we go to the update video, War Reignited, this is the update preview that they put out 2 weeks ago on the official CoD Discord. You can see here that it says Strife of the 8 Conquer Season. And you can see here force numbers 4, 60-day duration, registered kingdoms 99. And again, that obviously is not shown here, but maybe it could be something that we get in a later storyline, and that could just be what to come. However, we have Calling of Courage. So clicking on Calling of Courage, we have 4 camps, 50-day season, but we don't know how many are registered yet. If I click on details, nothing happens, but we can't click on introduction. Never mind, I can't. Shocking. Let's click on some rules here. And this is just kind of quick recaps, right? So the High King will select the realm's scenario. Once the High King is selected and registered for a scenario, all lords of the realm will be considered to have registered for the scenario, so everyone would participate. After registration ends, the High King will be unable to change the scenario. Realms registered for the same scenario will be matched with each other according to the rules. Okay, well, what are the rules? Each scenario contains multiple camps, with each camp composed of multiple realms. If a realm fails to register for a scenario 3 times in a row, they will be automatically registered for a random scenario during the next registration period. And this falls in line with what we've been told, which is that kingdoms can opt out. They don't have to register for this season unless we get some kind of update or announcement that says otherwise, which I don't believe has been the case. I don't think anything here in System Mail over the past couple days. Yeah, no. So I think we're all right. Now, from there, let's showcase you which kingdoms are going to be involved in this Season of Strife round. So, and I already have these listed off too as well, but I'm going to show you in-game first. And I've already gone through these kingdoms as well to verify myself. So we have the Beleren Season 2, or SP2, all of these kingdoms in the pre-war servers. So this is going to be 1 through 10, 22 through 90. If we go to Tamara Season 1, or ST1 for short, and we look at their pre-war server, it's going to be 213 through 240. If we look at SB1, or Beleren Season 1, and we look at 277 through 288, they are also going to be included. Why? Because they have finished their 3rd season. If you're in pre-war, that means that you finished the current season off. So how it goes, again, this is, I guess, unofficially, because there are a number of these kingdoms who've done more than 5 seasons, right? If you're in pre-war here, you finish Season 1. Pre-war here, you finish Season 2. And if you're here, you finish Season 3, right? With kind of 5 seasons currently for those that are playing now. And so those kingdoms are going to be there. Now, this brings us to a total of, and I'm going to show you this in a sec here, but it brings us to a total of 119 kingdoms that are going to be in this pool. And so now we're going to do a little crossover here. And this is the sheet this is one of them, right? But this is going to be my SOS sheet for the stuff that I do here, for where I keep track of all the KVKs, or some of you guys have seen this where I've shown this off in some of the KVK update videos. But this is the one we're going to be using for when the groups get paired. But you can see here 1 through 10, 22 through 90, 213 through 240, and 277 through 288. And then you have the registration period here. And then this is what we're going to be doing, right? So you can see that I've kind of already added all the kingdoms here for the ones that are going to be. I obviously have to remove these, but some of you are familiar with this. This is one of the things that I've done before. I've actually already updated my main channel here. So we're going to be doing a big data breakdown like we've done before for previous groups. And we'll try to do those as they come out in phases, and maybe even some other content here and there as well. But we will at least be doing this one. Now, we'll most likely be starting this, and I'm going to show you another sheet here in a moment that is connected. But this is the one that we usually do before matchmaking, where we'll release one. I always try to release one before matchmaking is announced and then after matchmaking is announced. However, if I don't have enough time, then I'll do it after matchmaking has been announced. So usually what we would do is I would do like the top servers, we would do the top alliances, we would do top personal power, right? These are all the ones I did for SB2, right? Or S2+++. And then I may even do like the amount of T5s, right? And maybe we'll do some breakdowns there, just depending. Obviously, it really comes down to how much time I have, because I have to go through 119 kingdoms. Even if all 119 kingdoms are not going to be fully active, I understand this. And then usually these pages where I have KVK power and then the KVK alliance name breakdowns, that's usually what we'll do once the groups are announced or matchmaking has been announced, so we can see who's with who. So just to kind of give you a preview, right? I may do something first where we'll do the top servers, we'll do top alliances, personal power, and this is where I rank every single one. So this is like a deep dive. Again, where I go through every kingdom, and I'll probably set a certain threshold. Before I was doing anything over 1 billion power, but this time I might just do fighting alliance capacities. So we may set some kind of a threshold for kingdoms 1 through 90. Maybe we'll set that at 4 or 5 billion, something around there. 213 to 288, maybe we'll set it around 3 or 4 billion, right? Maybe 4 billion, and then 1 through 90, maybe 5, 6, something like that is potentially what we'll do. I'll have to look at what the numbers look like for each of the alliances. But again, worst case, right, I may still use kind of a lower number threshold, but I'm going to try to do that if it makes sense and it looks like we're able. And then the next phase of this is going to be hopefully something that a lot of you will be excited for. And I will say this, is that if there's any other ideas you have And I may even do like a separate video on T5 breakdowns too as well, once we kind of look at the matchups and we can see, which sides are on which camps. And I say that because if this ends up being something that is a little bit more clear up front on who the matchups are going to be on who is against who, compared to how we have been seeing it, where we get a number of kingdoms that are thrown into a KVK and then a lot of that diplomacy takes over and we have to kind of wait for those things to settle and then for that information to be shared or announced in order for us to then know, okay, well, this is what the matchup is, and now we can kind of go and start doing, what do the numbers look like on this group to this group. If that ends up happening differently this time for Season of Strife, where those matchups and who's paired with who and who's going to fight against who is available to us sooner because the game system is kind of more indicating that to us based on how the camps are going to set up. Again, I can't recall exactly how this worked in KVK. Maybe someone will let me know in the comments. But if it looks, my point here is that if it looks as though I'm able to start pulling that data sooner rather than later, right, I'll definitely do that. Then the next phase here is going to be our ultimate migration guide, right? So we have this ultimate migration recruitment guide. I'm hoping this is going to be something that a number of you will potentially, hopefully be using once I officially get all of this filled out. I am waiting. I'm probably going to end up starting to put this together, I would say, maybe after registration is locked in, because then it's a little bit clearer. I may do it as early as tomorrow on July 2nd, but I'll say at the earliest, I'm either going to start it on the 2nd or the 3rd of July. And this is where you can come on this sheet. Keep in mind, I have this available on my Discord. I don't really know I'm on official media. So for example, if I go here and we go to reaction roll, right, you will just simply, hang on, I think I'm waiting for something to load here as we can do it. Don't freeze. Okay, cool. So then from here, you'll go to the 4th from the left, which is CoD Dragons, 4th from the left over here, and then you go to CoD Dragons, the category below. So after you select that reaction rule, this category will pop out, and then you go to CoD Data Stats, and I have this here at number 6, which is Best Migration, right? So that's where you can find this sheet. Now, this is a public sheet available for everyone in the community. My hope for this is to be a great public resource where I have data on every single kingdom in the game, and you can just get some quick information. If you want to be able to reach out to someone in-game, as far as this is their actual name, so you can always go in-game, right, as an example, and here I'll show you. So you could do this. So you can go here. I'll do a control copy or control C or a copy. We'll go... Probably would be nice if I opened up the right browser. We'll zoom in. We'll go other. I'll go search lords, and then you can see I'll do a control V, or we'll paste it. And if I search, right, there's Jalal's. And so that's, again, one of the efficiencies of why I wanted to make this public and why I felt the need to have this hopefully be a beneficial resource for those out there that are looking to either find a home or at a new home that they can go to, whether you're a player, a group of players, a full alliance, multiple alliances, especially with the kingdom capacity cap increases now, which we're probably going to talk about in another video because there's some wild stuff happening right now. But this is where I'll have the king or current queen's in-game name. Recruiters, this can be in-game or Discord. And so again, this will be where after I end up going through and I figuring everyone out. Now, I will say this, if you are from one of these kingdoms, you can reach out to me and you can let me know, because again, I do want to be able to get these people on our Discord, whether you're on the round table or if you're in the King's Guard. And the biggest difference there is that the round table is for all active, top and active alliances in your kingdom, and right, mostly full alliances, but even if you're near full, right, depending on where it is, right, we still may be happy to bring it in. And then the King's Guard is for the king or queen of the kingdom. And that's mainly because we just want to be able to have as much representation from the largest player, from the largest body of individuals or representatives that are there. Once again, I don't want to say beholden, but kind of stewarding, if you will, or I'll just say representing their alliances and the player bases there in those kingdoms and said alliances. And so I'm happy to get some information from many of you as far as, again, do you have a Discord? If you do, let me know. I'll link that here. or if you have a migration Discord, or if you just have the main one that you use for that. How do you manage your SLE event? How many available shells do you have? What's your territory distribution look like? And that could be something to the effect of, it could be like a shared, it could be based on rank, or something else. And then do you have any recruiting details? Do you have certain people you're looking for? What kind of information do you want to put out there as far as the type of players or groups? Are you unlimited on your power cap, etc.? Right? Anything that you'd like to provide to me, I'm happy to put in here. And so, yeah, again, you can see that a number of these are filled out. A lot of these actually are. This took me a while to do. I'm also going to have to go back through here and essentially reach out to these people. I had to stop here on 206 for Butcher because I ended up reaching my max cap of messages that I could send from my main in-game at the time. So I kind of have to do it every day. It does take a while. But this is something where you'll probably get an in-game message from me if you're a king or queen, or if you're watching this video and you're not in the round table or the King's Guard, just reach out to me on Discord, and we'll see if you meet the requirements to get in. And yeah, so my hope is basically now I'm going to fill out the remainder of these kingdoms now that they're here. But like I said, I'm probably going to take a day or two to do it because I want to give all these kingdoms some time to where they have enough in order to go and capture the dragon to get their high king or queen. And some, I'm sure, have already done it within that first 24 hours. Some may take a little bit longer. So I just want to give enough people wiggle room. Also, so I don't have to do this multiple times because it does take a significant amount of work. Okay. I think that more or less covers me for everything that I wanted to touch on as it pertains to Season of Strife. Now, let me just get into some final thoughts here. I don't want to say I'm skeptical. I want to say that I'm optimistically skeptical. It's probably a nice way to put it. And that's simply because, one, it'd be cool if I could see the information on this before this is started. That kind of sucks a bit that we can't do that. In addition, there's just not enough details right now as far as how are the camps going to work. It says that there's going to be multiple kingdoms per camp, and there's 4 camps. So does that mean you're going to have 2 to 4, 2 to 6 kingdoms per camp, and you could have up to 24, maybe up to 30 kingdoms in a Season of Strife COC or Calling of Courage group? That's kind of what it feels like it could be. And we'll have to see on, how many, what's the high amount of kingdom, what's the low amount of kingdoms? Are they going to pair the top at the top, kind of mid, the lower tier kingdoms as well, or lower powered kingdoms, we should say. So there is a number of unknowns. Now, the trend as of late, and this is as it pertains to the SB29 group, if you're talking the BTR, EDS, etc. I think IM is there and a number of others, and excuse me if I'm just not recalling everyone at the moment. I'd have to go and look at my sheet real quick. But that would be the, here we go, yeah. So it's BTR, EDS, IL, Max, ROV, ROG, BNR, BRH, and the IM group, right? And they kind of total coming in at a fighting punching power of about 107 billion power. And the sides were pretty close to being even, right? There was about a 2.6 build differential where we had 54.8 versus 52.2, right? That's how it looked like at least prior to Zone 2 opening. And so are we going to get, and to be fair, this was the most balanced for how big it was. This had been the most balanced for the largest powered KVK group in COD history thus far, and it was the most balanced, right? That it could have been. Everyone involved in that KVK group publicly made an effort to want to balance things out, at least to the best of their abilities and capabilities at the time for what they had to work with. And I applaud that group for that, because that's exactly what we want to see, right? We don't want to see imbalanced matchups. That does nothing for us. You can go take a high kick rocks with that pimp, and that doesn't do anything for me, and it shouldn't do anything for anyone else. Nobody wants to see you raffle and pub stomping because of such a massive power imbalance. I want to see people out-strategize and, through usage of tactics, outplay opponents. That's what I want to see. I want to see people getting out-microed. I want to see people getting out-positioned. That's what I love. And that's the only thing that matters to me. It's the only thing that ever is going to matter. And so And that, I'm not saying a declaration or anything like that to speak to anyone else. That's just how I feel. And so it was great to see that. And also, in addition, we started to see more balanced KVK groups. If you looked at SB2-10, SB2-11, where you had, I think SB2-10 was about 80 billion fighting power, and then SB2-11 was 69.1 billion fighting power. And if we go in game, I can kind of show you that real quick for those particular groups. And then if we zoom all the way out and we click on things where they work, right, we can see season server, and then we can see 9, right, 10, 11, right, those were the kingdoms there, the kingdoms here in 11. If we looked at the power here, and I'll show you that real quick. Let's do this. Right, you could see here 80 billion for total 69.1. You can just see that the average power for the top alliances was pretty close here for each of these when you're just looking at the high ends. And the same thing here when you're looking at the groups here, right, 16, 16, 11, 12, 12.9. I mean, the gap wasn't as extremely wide as it has been, where we have been seeing high, medium, and low-powered kingdoms and tiers of kingdoms being paired. This very much gave me the impression that it was more kind of high and mid, or mid and low, or low, right? That's kind of how it was. So it was a little bit closer, and that's hopefully the trend that we will continue to see for Season of Strife during this first story. Hi, sweetie, thank you. And so again, right, that's what I'm going to be looking out for. Are we going to get that? And are they going to stay consistent for Calling of Courage? I hope. I also believe that with the migration that has been open now, and like I said, we are going to do a deep dive on this in another video, that potentially at least one of these KVK groups for Season of Strife is going to have the opportunity to exceed 107 billion power for fighting power, or punching power, if you will, and could be what we may see as the next strongest and highest powered KVK group or KVK season in COD's history. And that'll be, I think, exhilarating and exciting. Again, along with the elephant in the room asterisk, as always, is hopefully the lag can be manageable. With that in mind, let me know what you guys think. Again, are you excited for Season of Strife, Calling of Courage? Are you looking forward to some of the things that I'm going to be putting out? Do you have any other ideas on things that I can put out as well prior to that as it pertains to stats and kind of data collection and pulling? And as always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you later.